figure out how to get this posted to our webpage as well afterwards for those who missed it. Okay, so our wonderful year in review, and what a year it was. So we managed to get in just 4 of our 12 monthly charger chats. We do what we got to do because we got the wonderful joys of the lockdown, kind of limited to what we could do. So then we got just a couple more in, where we had to limit the number of people we had show up to the 5 to kind of converse with people. But we did what we did. We got sunny days for a couple of them. We ended up recruiting a few more members during those couple that we could get. And so it's like, so it worked out. It didn't always work out to have them, but we got to try to get in as many events as we could, knowing we had these wonderful restrictions. Because we even had a chapter meetup with the Northeast chapter when they drove out to Leavenworth. I drove out to meet them so I could say hi, so they could see some of the board members that they had. So because we don't normally get to meet face to face without that many people. And we had our wonderful little Model Y walkthrough, was one of our first virtual events that we had last year. And then we had our wonderful little trivia nights, and we'll see if we can get a 1 or 2 of those more in this coming year. And then things we were working on as the board, even though we couldn't meet as a club, we still managed to do our weekly board meetings to still keep planning going, trying to figure out events we could do virtually, get all the paperwork sorted out so that we were official with the government, IRS, Washington State, and with Tesla, and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, so it's like, so even though we weren't actually able to meet the board members, we were still working. Yeah, because the big changes that we had last year, of course, we dissolved the first club. We dissolved the Pacific Northwest Club because it started out as a 501c3. But after I became president, I started researching more of the club and found out we didn't have all the proper paperwork in to be an official 501c3. So we were talking to lawyers to try and get that sorted out. And half of the 5 lawyers we talked to told us to run, that it wasn't worth the effort to try to fix it. So that's why we ended up dissolving that one, and we liquidated its assets, and we didn't want to roll them into the new club because we didn't think that was right. And we just reestablished as Tesla Owners Puget Sound to start with, because that kind of more represented the members contingent that we had, because most of the 100 people that we had left in the club were all Puget Sound area. And then we brought in probably about a month or 2 into starting Puget Sound. We ended up bringing in a Facebook group that was Spokane Coeur d'Alene. And then that's when we decided, okay, it's just time to go back to the whole state of Washington, because we knew that Pacific Northwest was just too big of a club to start with. Even just doing Puget Sound, we weren't sure whether or not we were going to get in over our heads at that point, but we'll see what happens. So, and then, so then we ended up moving to Tesla Owners Washington, and we ended up breaking out into 7 different chapters. And we'll get to the chapter map in a minute so you guys can kind of see how we broke that up. And even during the lockdown times, we ended up gaining another 48 members. So we doubled our membership without even being able to meet in person with anybody. So that was kind of shocking. It was welcoming, but we didn't expect to expand quite as fast as we did, knowing that we couldn't do meetups in persons. And then also this past probably about 4 or 5 months, Tesla has also started recognizing the usefulness that the clubs are. So they've been starting to engage with the clubs more frequently as well too. So that relationship keeps growing as well. So, and then this is how we've broken out our state to kind of break things up so that we can have more reasonable areas to host events, that people aren't having to drive too far to get to events. Even though we do have the state broke up into chapters, we kind of designate what chapter we put you into according to your address, but it doesn't limit you to just events in that chapter. any event that we host is open to anybody across the state, depending on how far you're willing to drive. Excuse me. And then the numbers that I have behind all of our chapter lead names are the number of members we have in each of those chapters at the moment. So for the Olympic chapter, we have Howard Feinstein, who's also in the call with us today. Our Southwest chapter lead is Daryl Prowse. Our Puget Sound chapter is Marshall Gladding. And our South chapter is Judy Hinrichs. So it's like, yes, because Judy just joined us probably a couple months ago as well, along with Howard. And so it's like, so we were happy to have them on, and they were willing to take on events in their area. And we're still looking to find people in the North chapter as well as the Southeast chapter. So eventually we're going to keep growing once we can start meeting in person again. So I don't think we'll have issues finding people for those places until then. They're open, and they're just kind of everybody's Tesla owners Washington anyway. So it'll be fun when we get there. So then our future plans. These are some of the events that we're hoping to continue through till next year, as well as a couple that we want to add in that we haven't had in a while. Because I missed out doing the Wild Horse Wind Farm tour in 2018 because I had a vacation that I was on that I'd rather go to, but I missed out doing that one. And I've also been working on doing a supercharger rally. I've been trying to see if we wanted to do one around the Olympic Peninsula, if we wanted to do one north and south on I-5, or east-west, up and down, or across I-90. That way we can try and engage more members of the club as well. So that'll be interesting once I can get that finally planned out. And I was going to try and do it as a scavenger hunt, that once you got to superchargers, you had to answer questions and enter them in a poll to prove that you were actually there, instead of cheating and trying to having somebody send you pictures to say, hey, these are the questions here. So that'll be interesting. So we'll see how that goes too. And then some other big projects that we've been working on in the background lately have been, I was gonna say, I know the Frunken food drive was my fun idea. The previous president didn't like it much, but I got a kick out of it. And so a couple of the big projects we've been working on this past couple months is I'm not necessarily on the board of it yet, but I've been working with the Washington State Autonomous Work Group to give them information about how the autonomous software works on a Tesla, because they're trying to figure out regulations for road use with autonomous cars. So, and that work group has only been a work group for the past 3-4 months, I think. So yeah, so they're just in the beginning stages of it. And I met with them once last week before. And they had absolutely no idea how the cameras worked on a Tesla for the autonomous, to make it autonomous, because they're worried about the privacy issues of all of the camera recordings. So they didn't know how and what all of those cameras recorded, at what times, how it recorded, how it saved it, all that kind of good stuff. So I kind of gave them a lot of good information as to how those cameras are working. So we'll see what happens for the next meeting and how the next stages go with all of this. So, and then we also started working with a gentleman in Seattle that he's trying to open up a private charging station near Capitol Hill, and he wants to try and run it with solar panels. So we've been talking with him and been trying to rope in Seattle City Light to help us with all of the planning of that. So, and we'll see how that goes, because they're just in the starting phase of planning all of that. Because he has a retired, decommissioned gas station at the corner of 21st and Union. And so it's like, yeah, so he's trying to convert that into a charging station. And the gas station he's renting out to a bicycle racing team. So that'll be interesting to see once we can get some plans in the works for what's going on with that. And then I can't see what's on the bottom of my screen there. Hang on, let me check one quick thing. What's my next one?
The growing relations between Tesla and
there we go.
clubs worldwide.
There we go. Thanks, Jay. So yeah, so the growing relationship with Tesla, they're starting to actually promote clubs at delivery centers and service centers so that when potential new owners come in, they can give out our business cards so that we can kind of engage with the customer after they've taken delivery, as well as if they have questions afterwards, or if they're on the edge, we can help push them over the edge to either say, okay, maybe this doesn't work for you, maybe this version works for you, that kind of a thing, and answer any questions that they have that makes them hesitant on purchasing an electric vehicle. So hopefully that'll also help to increase the visibility of the clubs, all of them, not just us, and also increase membership and hopefully a better relationship with Tesla and the mothership as well. Because Jay and I are also on a Slack channel with all of the other club organizations around the world so that we can also try bounce ideas, insurance ideas, event ideas, organizational ideas, and all of this kind of stuff off of everybody. So it doesn't feel like we're just swimming in deep water and can't take it. So it's been kind of interesting this past year to watch things kind of come and grow and evolve with Tesla's help. So there we got that part. And then on the organizational side. So we are looking for those chapter leads for North and Southeast. And once we start meeting in person, like I said, we should get more members in those areas because we had a few in each of those areas before, but they just never renewed back when we were Tesla owners, Pacific Northwest. So we're hoping that as quarantine regulations change and that kind of stuff, we can start making our presence known in those areas again, and maybe we can pull those members back in again. And then we can start using those resources to get chapter leads for them. So, and also just this month, we started doing virtual one-on-one owner orientations. We've had 3 so far this month, and 2 of them have been in person, just one-on-one, taking our full safety precautions with gloves and masks and hand sanitizers and all of that kind of stuff, good stuff, as well as I did just a phone one just yesterday, actually, that she was having issues with her car connecting to her Wi-Fi. So we walked her through different steps that she could use to get her car hooked back up to her Wi-Fi again. And then also too, we want to take in rework how we do our membership level perks, because we only had 7 people ask for their membership merch credit to purchase merchandise at our store. So it's like, so we didn't want to take and just waste that money just having it sitting in our accounts, because we had that allocated as perks for you to join the club for the performance and chill levels. And so we're trying to figure out, do we want to do something different than a membership credit? Or do we want to keep it for the first year, have something different for the second year? So we're kind of looking for different ideas for that. We have a couple things that we're thinking about that we're trying to plan out how we do that, but would also be interesting to hear what you guys have for ideas as well. Because we want you to think that you're getting your value out of your membership that you're paying. So any ideas on that would be also helpful from you guys. Let's see, and then our wonderful financial statement, where all of your money went to when you paid your dues. So we took in, we are at 99 members as of this morning, and we took in $4,280 in membership fees. And then we had just 2 paid events, and it was a wine tasting for general membership last year in March, like 2 days before the lockdown. And then we managed to do one more as a private plaid event, because that was when we had restrictions of only 5 people. So it was just our plaid members at the time for that plaid event. And then we have all of the stuff that we had to expense out for maintenance of the club, for our membership software, for badges, which I need to redo now that we changed the logo. And we'll eventually get those redone and get sent out to everybody as well too, your new badges. And so we paying for our I just drew a blank, through all Microsoft Office stuff for our emailing, as well as our membership program, and tents and chairs and tables and all of that kind of stuff that we purchased from Tesla owners, Pacific Northwest. There we go. That one. And then let's see, and then I'm trying to think of what else is in there. And I think that's pretty much it. So it's like, yeah, so after we brought in over just almost $5,000, we ended up spending just over $4,000 just to maintain the club last year. So that's kind of where your membership dues come in and go back out. So, and then don't worry, at the end, we'll take questions on all this kind of good stuff too. And we can always backtrack if need to. And then our wonderful Q&As. So we have some questions that we want to ask you guys as members while we got your attention. And then we'll also open up to you to do just open questions as well too. And if you want to take and turn on your chat window on the sidebar, then you can take and put answers in there, and we can address things for you. And then we can do one-on-one questions as well too, and kind of address those as we go. So one of the things we're trying to figure out where to spend a lot of our effort on getting information out to you guys on club events, club news, and interests and that kind of stuff. So we want to kind of know where you're getting your club information. Is it through email? Is it through Twitter? Is it through Instagram, Facebook? Are there other things that you would like us to use to get information to you? We're open to all of those kinds of ideas. And so, and then also to what other kinds of events do you want to do? Because we know that we can do minimal in-person events right at the moment with limited membership, because we're limited to 6 people from just 2 households. So that limits pretty much just about anything for in-person stuff at the moment. And then we do our virtual events, because next month we will have a pot sticker cooking class virtual event coming up. And then we're going to work on doing another virtual energy event come March for those who couldn't make it for this one coming up next week. And also for those that aren't close to a store where they can do an in-person presentation as well too. So, and we've talked about doing different overnight events, drive events, other EV events, other than if we want to do them more than just the Drive Electric Week events, which happen in May and September, and other types of EV tech talks, not just necessarily Tesla stuff, as well as other different types of product demos. Because there's a company that I tried to have a presentation with last year that it's kind of an electric bike. It's not a bicycle, but it's more than a bicycle, but not quite a motorcycle type of thing. And I'm drawing a blank as to what that company was. I should have looked it up before the presentation, but I forgot to. As well as there's a company out of California that offers a generator that draws off the battery of a Model 3. That it's like had shown interest of wanting to do a presentation with us before COVID had hit as well too. So there's those kinds of things that we've been researching to see if anybody is kind of interested in those kinds of things. As well as, okay, then did I kind of hit most of my questions? I think so. So yeah, so that's pretty much that. And it's like, and we'll open it up for, if you want to take and unmute your mic as well too, then you can also, if you guys have other questions of just about anything with the club as well too, works.
Yeah, one other thing I'd like to add is if you have ideas for an event you'd like to see us do during the lockdown or even afterwards, go ahead
Yeah.
and throw that in the chat window so we can capture that here. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I know, because that's one of the big things. It's like, because when we were trying to chop up the state into different chapters, at first we were going off by how far would participants, owners, club members want to drive. So that's how we kind of limited it to kind of the chapters that we have at the moment. I mean, granted, going from Redmond to Spokane, it's only like a 4.5 hour drive, but you also still have to figure in time to stop and charge in that. So that's why it's kind of like, okay, how far or how much do we break up, do we break up the state, or do we do smaller ones, do bigger ones, that kind of thing. So that's kind of how we went about chopping the state up the way we did for the chapters. Okay, let's see. So we'll start going through the little chat here to see what we have. Let's see. So for the most part, it seems like Twitter, Facebook, and email is the three big ones. So yeah, and I don't know if we can get Falcon 9 to come, but that would be nice. Let's see. Yeah, text updates are kind of difficult because the program we use doesn't do texting for Howard's comment there.
Teresa, I had suggested looking at Signal for a group chat.
Okay.
That comes through as text, so we can talk about that.
Sure. Absolutely. Let's see what else we got in here. So willing to drive up to 200 miles. I know, because that was one of the things that we were thinking about with the wild horse wind farm, was that we would go out and do that, and we would also bring in the Portland chapter, not Portland anymore, the Oregon club, to come join us as well too. That we can do, because before we got a tour inside one of the windmills, as well as also another behind the scenes tour that only our club got, that they don't do for the general public. And then either go to a campground to camp in our cars, or we had reservations. We had a block of hotels at one of the local hotels as well too, that we could stop at. And I think we ended up with almost 70, 80 people, I think, at that event. Do you remember? I know that you went for that one.
Yeah, I don't remember the total head count. It was big.
Yeah. So that was a real fun one.
It was.
I was so sad that I missed it too, but yeah. So hopefully we can get back out there again. Let's see. All the little chimes in there. I got to clean them out so I can see the chat underneath.
Yeah, and Puget Sound Energy was very supportive, and they were really good about working with us on that too, because they're the ones that run that wind farm and solar farm. And
right.
We got to drive our cars up to their solar array and took a bunch of pictures of our cars out with the solar panel array up there. So, we got several different tour things that not everybody gets to do. It was a good time.
Right. Yeah. No, thanks for taking notes there, Cindy. I'm just getting caught up on the chat thread.
It's all good. And I know it's being recorded, so anything I miss will be able to recapture.
True. That is true. That is true. Let's see.
Camping is another one. Carolyn brought up, or Carlin, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I know, because there was a group discount on the trunk and frunk openers at one point, because there was the guy in, I want to say he was in the Model 3 Facebook group that was offering, I think it was like 10 or 15%.
I can speak on that. I think you're talking about my buddy Brett. He has Midnight Sun, and he was offering a $500 install. but you
Got ya.
had to buy the equipment yourself. I went and watched the YouTube video on doing the install, and I definitely can do it myself. Me and you know, I'm comfortable with that. So I would like to see if anybody wants to put together. I contacted Hanshaw out of China, and they did come back to me and say they'd be happy to, you know, give us a group discount if we want to put a big order together. And so
Gotcha.
maybe we could get something going, maybe a post, or, you know,
Sure.
kind of, I mean, I guess I would be willing to head that up if no one else is already doing it, or if we already have a discount because we're a club on file, then maybe that's an easier way, just to have like a code that we can give our members to order these accessories for our cars, and not have to do a group buy and have everything shipped to the same place and then distributed.
I know, yeah, because the guy that had posted in the Model 3 group, I don't remember what the company was that he was with, but he was, oh gosh, it's like, I want to say it was like $450 for the setup.
Okay, that might be someone different than Brett. Brett
Yeah, I
has
think
the
so.
Midnight Sun tent and
Yeah, 'cause
ocean
it's
side or
tent,
something
yeah.
like.
Yeah, because it's like, because it wasn't Brett Bueller.
Okay.
Yeah, it was somebody else. And then for the life of me, I have to go back and look at that again. But yeah,
But
because he
you
was
still
just
gotta- you
offering
still
that
gotta
to
get
anybody
the-
in the Facebook group. Oh, sorry, what was that, Howard?
You still have to buy the hardware, and you know, if we can go in on it together, I think it'll save a few dollars, you know.
Right. Yeah, because any Tesla Club members will get a 15% discount on any services that APC Auto Spa offers up in Woodinville. And that can be on detailing packages, on PPF installs, so paint protection films, all that kind of stuff. So they've given us 15% discounts on that, on their services up there as well too, just as
Do
FYI.
you have like a vendors list of all of the businesses that are honoring? Is there a centralized, you know, preferred vendors list for discount?
That's the only one so far that we get a discount at.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might be a
We're
fun
working
side
on it.
project for somebody.
We're, yeah, it's on the queue. It's just,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I'll help with
you
it
know?
too. I'm all about the discount, baby. You know,
I know. Exactly.
I'll buy more. I mean, I just want a deal, you know?
Right.
Yeah. As a board, we've talked about it multiple times, trying to figure out which vendors and getting discounts. So hopefully
Yeah.
COVID is gone sooner rather than later, so we can get more members, so that we're more appealing to these businesses as a whole.
Right. So yeah, because it's like, yeah, the vendor up in Woodinville for the paint protection film is APC Auto Spa. So the woman that I talked to up there, her name is Heather. Let's see.
Another topic I posted in, I don't know if you're done going through the chat, but my best friend and his dad and I were talking recently about how we can come up with a business idea that would support the transition to just renewable energy in general. You know, what opportunities are out there. I'm very keen on, you know, we have a little bit to work with in terms of, you know, a startup, and we have a logistics, sales, and finance and accounting background. When you put the you know, the group together, that's what we can bring to the table. And the question is, well, what sort of small businesses might benefit in return for providing assistance to help switch people to a sustainable energy environment, you know, vis-a-vis the initiatives the government is putting forward without question. In fact, I don't know if anybody saw it come out, but Nancy Pelosi has 25 call contracts on LEAP that she just bought for like almost $1 million for 2025. So she's planning on 10xing her money in the next 5 years or so, and that's a good indicator as to where the government's going. On not that we didn't know, But just before the meeting, I got a buddy of mine in California sent me the disclosures that she has these calls that she just bought in December. So I know we're moving that way. I think we're going to get the EV credit. I think we're going to get the charging build out, the supercharger build out, or commercial charging, public charging build out. So what kind of small business opportunities are there for people who want to kind of get involved and help move in that direction? If anyone knows anything, I personally would like to know, but I'm also open to the idea in line with what other products not related to the club necessarily are you interested in?
Sure, I know. Yeah, because it's like because we do have an NDA signed with Tesla, so there's only a certain far that we can. There's only a certain distance we can go with some of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily. It could be solar. It could be just, converting. Like this idea with converting this gas station to a charging station. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you could almost have a business just going around and advising businesses on how to become EV friendly and what needs to be done. And I'm sure there are businesses that would love to have EV charging abilities, but don't really know where to go and don't necessarily know how to reach out to the big providers. There's got to be a middle way to do it. It's not going with PlugShare or whoever does these. Not PlugShare necessarily. That's a wrong word, but you know what I mean. There's
Blink and the Blink chargers and that kind of stuff.
That's what I was going to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, you could almost have a business just setting up Tesla wall chargers at businesses. All, here, you're Mr. Business Owner. You don't have to do anything. We'll come in, we'll put it in, and I don't know what. I don't know. That's why I'm asking about it now.
I know. Well, because as a business, we can't do that because we can't take in more than 30% of our funds from outside membership. Because then that defeats us with IRS. Then we lose our IRS status. So that's kind of stuff. We can come in as advisors and take a donation from them, but it has to be less than the 30% that we take in of our total funds for the year.
Gotcha. Okay.
So and that's a government issue. Yeah, that's just the way that we're filed with the government. So I know it's like, yes, the joys of the IRS getting at us. So I know, because then we lose our not-for-profit status.
Gotcha. I've been following almost all of the other Twitter the clubs on Twitter, and they have a lot of great ideas for events that they're holding. And if we are looking for ideas, but your Slack channel would have the best access to behind the scenes stuff, but it's just kind of cool to see what they're doing down, out in the Bay or out in Austin or whatever that their clubs are doing and how their members are participating in these different events. And I definitely want to be around other Tesla owners. I got my car in March of last year, and I've only had the opportunity to meet just a very small number of people in person that actually own Teslas besides me. And I want to be around people who own their cars. So I wish we could get rid of this pandemic and get back to it.
I know. We're with you. Believe me.
Amen.
I know. Because it's like, yes, because we had the Tesla and the Tulips rally 2 years ago with one of our members who just passed away up in Ferndale. And it's like, and we did that 2 years in a row, and that was a blast. Of course, he was a bit of a lead foot, so it was hard to keep up with him, but we managed. And it's like, so that kind of stuff we want to try and get back to. Absolutely. So because it's like, because I did try and start planning the supercharger rally for last year. And then, and then COVID hit, and it's like, okay, well, how do we manage this and not talk to each other? It's like, that's not very fun. I want to talk to people too. So it just gets tricky. But because we're open to all ideas. Where we have the chapter leads now to help us with planning in the different areas as well. And then we can always get it advertised on the website and social media and that kind of a stuff. And then we can always do any and all of the events as a whole club, but just have the chapter heads and chapter leads help us planning with those events that are further away. So Yeah, it's because eventually all of the clubs in the US were looking to be Tesla owners, North America, USA of America. We haven't all decided yet, but we're hoping that one day we'll get that route so that hopefully we can start working on getting different discounts for like car insurance or home insurance or that kind of a stuff with things. So, I mean, discounts on tires because we all go through tires still. So that's one of the things that we're trying to work in the background with other presidents through the Slack channels on trying to get that sorted out. Because even now, just with Tesla, the clubs are also tiered, just like we have our tiered memberships that are chill, performance, and plaid as well. That's why we ended up kind of switching the names of our levels to what Tesla is tiering up the clubs as. And the higher up in the tiers you are, the more perks we get from Tesla as clubs. Right now, the biggest perk we get is the 20% discount codes for club members. Right now, we don't qualify for getting those for next year, even though we did this past 2 years, because we don't have general liability insurance at the moment. So, because we only took out just event insurance last year for the events where we needed it. And so now in order to get that discount code from Tesla now, we have to carry general liability insurance. So we're also looking into that to get that purchased as well too. So, but we're still in the middle of arguing with the IRS to change our name from Tesla Owners Puget Sound to Tesla Owners Washington on our EIN. So on our employment something number. I can't remember what the I stands for right now. So, because we need that to apply for our insurance. So, because it's like, because also too, before the pandemic, I was working on doing an electric vehicle show at Redmond Town Center, and to do that with the Seattle Electric Vehicle Association with us, so that we can see other types of cars, converted cars to electric. And we were going to try and pull in dealers that have electric cars to kind of display as well too. But yes, so many things got put on hold last year. So that hopefully we can start bringing some of those things back again. So yeah, so those joys. So, and it's like, and I saw Laura's comment about general car care and maintenance. I was also working on scheduling a car care clinic at Griot's Garage in Tacoma before everything went down, to learn how to at least take care of the exterior and finishes in your car for like touchless water. Waterless. There you go. Waterless washing equipment for your car, or foam cannon things, different towels to use, different products to use on the exterior, on the interior, if you wanted to try and do whatever types of things you wanted to do with the exterior of your car. So yeah, so we had a few things in the pipelines that we had to, of course, nix. So that hopefully we can get back to soon, we hope. So yeah. So yes, and the chapter leads came about by, for Carlin's question, the chapter leads. The chapter lead started first with Matthew in Spokane. I saw that he was a Facebook group at first, and he was looking to try and figure out how to become an official club. And that's how we kind of pulled him in first, and we started thinking about chaptering up. So then after that, we started talking to members who were more active and more interested in trying to help host events and that kind of stuff. And Daryl we found from before, because he was kind of doing that already for the club in previous years, because he's down in Ocean Shores. He's the one that always coordinated our parades down in that area for the Flag Day Parade and Aberdeen Founders Day Parade. So he was kind of our parade person for that chapter already. So that's how we kind of recruited him in. And it's like, okay, Jay wants me to end the slideshow. So we'll take and go through. I'll finish up our last slide here, and then we can actually like see people's faces again. So then we'll do the thank you, and then here's kind of our board members again. And then we have a technology advisor. He's the one that's helping us with, this is Margie's husband. He's the one that's helping us with the autonomous work group with Washington State. And then once again, I want to thank our chapter leads, Matthew, who is the Northeast chapter. We have Howard, who's our Olympic chapter, and Daryl is our Southwest chapter. Judy is our South chapter, and Marshall just became the chapter lead for Puget Sound. So I get to take that other little title off my cards. So we have extra help so we can concentrate on the organization part of all the club stuff. So yeah, so there we go. So now everybody can start to see people again. So yes, and we are, of course, for Adam's question there, we are looking to expand to wineries around the state as well. So I just joined a Facebook group for Wines of Washington to help us look for wineries just outside of Woodinville, because granted, we do have over 200 wineries we can do in Woodinville. We are looking to expand that across the state. And it can be just a chapter wine tasting event, or it can be a whole club one, that kind of a stuff. So yeah, so that's what we plan on doing eventually, to kind of spread across the state for all that stuff as well. And then, because it's like, and for Howard's thing about animal shelters, we've Pasado Safe Haven up in Sutton has reached out to us at the beginning of last year. They are an animal rescue for animals that were involved in criminal cases. So they named their shelter after Pasado the donkey from, it was 10 or 15 years ago. I think it was closer to 15 years ago, where he was abused by his owner and ended up passing away in the process of the abuse from his owner. So they wanted to name their shelter in honor of the donkey, and because they do a lot of rescues from criminal cases. A lot of the cases that they deal with are hoarding cases. So yeah, so they can't take and start posting about some of their animals until the cases that the animals are involved in has been completed. And then they can start adopting out those animals when they can. So yeah, so they've reached out to us to try and do an event with them out there as well too. Let's see, yes, eventually we will get new window cleans. It's like, yes, because with the virtual wine tasting that we're doing next weekend, the winery owner is giving us discounts on all of our wine on that, by the way. Just trying to go through.
I have a question about the virtual wine tasting.
Sure.
I think it's really a cool idea, and we've gone to a number of wine events and wine tastings at people's houses where they come in with all the wines, and you wind up spending way more money than you expected to. I if I'm going to be completely just as transparent as I can, I thought it was just a bit more than I was willing to spend to taste wine at a computer. Like if I was going somewhere, definitely I'm down with it. I just thought, I guess I shouldn't be closed-minded. I'm not trying to be closed-minded at all. Sure. I just thought that the budget was a bit more than I was willing to put in for that event, which is why I passed on it.
Oh, sure, no problem.
And what would you like to see? Like what price point would you guys like to see?
Well, I mean, if I recall, it was what, $150, wasn't it, and Correct. You got 3 bottles mailed to you, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. I buy bottles of wine that are $50 a piece, so that's not routinely, but
sure.
That's definitely not beyond the pale for pricing. But I just think that if we're I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just thought it was more money than
I totally see where you're coming from, Howard, because I had the same reservations. Because when we did the tasting at the one
Martini.
Yep. Yes.
Varsity Wineries. Yeah.
And that was like what, $50 a piece or something like that.
I think we had it at we had it at 30. Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So we're, that was quite a bit of jump. But I did get a friend who is looking to buy a Tesla. He's coming to my house. We're all checked out for COVID, but he's coming to my house.
Sure.
And said he was going to split it with me. So that kind of was like, all right, I'll go ahead and go for it if he's going to come over, because then I can try and talk him into pulling the trigger.
Sure.
Yeah, part of the problem, in all honesty, that we had with that is if you go to a winery and do a tasting, you typically get a 1 ounce pour of each of the wines. It's hard to ship an ounce of each of the wines to people. So it was 3 full bottles. Well, there's a lot more than an ounce in each bottle. So that kind of was part of it. And, there was no way to get half bottles or because they're bottled. And we debated on, all right, it's not much of a tasting if you're only tasting one wine. So, this was kind of the dilemma of during COVID times. What do we do with this?
So you open 3 full bottles of wine to taste, and then you got to finish the 3 bottles. So it's like before that.
Your members of your household can participate, and if you do the social distancing and the rest of that, you can have other people that are 6 feet away from you that you pour for.
The other thing, we did look at a different wine shipper that was under $100. The problem was, I think the wines we discovered were coming out of Australia, and we felt like we would rather support our local wineries than to do that. So that was another thing that we looked at as well.
Yeah, because they couldn't cater us just to Northwest wines. So, and it's like and it was like $90 for each person to purchase the wine, plus there was an event fee on top of that was additional to that. So by the time we paid for the event fee, it was still going to be about $120 per person.
So hi, this is Mike York. I've been in stealth mode here. Another option you might have is I've been attending a number of whiskey samplings run by the Barrel Thief in Fremont, and Chris, the owner, bottles them up in half-ounce samples, and they run anywhere from $25 to $80, depending on what you sampled. And there's usually 4 to 6 samples in each one. If you're mixed into whiskey, that's a possibility. They're actually a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, because that was one of the people. That was one of the requests too when we did that survey. Probably about last month in December. Did you put that in the chat for us, Mike?
Okay.
So we can look into that, please. That'd be great.
I captured in the notes too, Teresa.
Did you? Okay, good. Thanks. I know. Yeah, there's not a lot of people that do multiple iced tea tastings, though. Unfortunately, Laura,
we have looked at or talked about like afternoon teas, which is food and tea. So I think we did that in the Divas group, and we were talking about bringing it over to the main group as well.
Exactly. Yep.
We also talked about doing a chocolate tasting.
Yes.
Have the club do a pour for everybody with this.
I'm unmuting for chocolate tasting. I'm all about that.
Greg, are you
for that?
Greg, are you volunteering your tequila for that?
Maybe. I'll sell it to you for a good price.
I was gonna say $850 for the bottle.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
If they ever open up another production run, they should have the clubs buy a bottle, and then we could do that.
I know, that would be nice.
They should donate a bottle to each club.
There you go.
Whoa, I know. No, so I tried just finding the tequila itself in the local alcohol stores or whatever, but nobody had it in stock for 150 miles. So, because I did look, which would have been a little bit cheaper tasting than pouring the Tesla tequila out of its bottle. So, But yeah. I know, so it's I guess because I do like ginger beer myself too, but I also like the I just do a blank. Yes, the ciders, the hard ciders do. So yes, because I have a friend that also owns Chainline Brewery that I've been trying to get him to answer my emails to do beer tasting as well with him too, doing it virtually. So we're trying to get a variety of different things out there.
Wasn't there a barbecue one we were also looking at, doing like an afternoon barbecue? What
Yes.
venue was that?
That was in Soto, Jack's Barbecue in Soto, I think. Yeah,
And
because
then we were talking too about, food trucks. Once we can meet
Yes.
in person again, there are folks with food trucks that are like, oh, would love to set up in a parking lot somewhere and have
Yep.
Tesla folks come visit.
Yep.
So, part of it is we need this COVID stuff to go away.
I know, exactly. Yes, because we talked about having those as at our charger chats, that we could do a lunchtime charger chat with a food truck. So yeah.
Laura asked about the pot sticker experience that we're planning.
Yes, we're still in the planning phases of that because it's Margie, our treasurer, who's going to work on that. And she's coming up with a meat recipe as well as a vegetarian recipe. And once we get more details on that, we will get that information out, and we're going to do that on February 20th. And we'll do that once again through a Teams meeting as well. So yep, so we're still fleshing out all the details on that, but it's coming. So yep. Let's say, did I catch everybody's chats in there? Do you guys see if I missed anything?
Nothing yet.
Okay. Let's see, just trying to scroll through there and try and catch up here. So excuse my pause here for a moment. Let's see. No, okay, I think I'm caught up now. Okay.
Aw, I don't have any pets. I'm allergic. That's why I was like, who's got the pets? What are the names? I think so far we have Cookie and Lily that we've seen.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got
Like,
four
yeah.
Shelties, and two of them are laying over here right now.
I know, yeah. My kitty cats won't travel. So yeah, because it's like, because we've had club members actually take and bring their pets when we've had the Drive Electric weeks at either Triple X or we've done downtown Bellevue, we've done Steilacoom, we've done Liberty Lake.
All over the place.
I know. I'm trying to remember all the different cities we've done it in, because we've done it up to 6 cities in a weekend with different club members around the state, depending on where they were at. So it was, we were spread out that weekend with everybody. But yeah, and it's, I guess we've had pets brought there, and we've got to see different other types of conversions. Other automakers have come with electric cars to do test drives with. We've had a few club members actually do ride-alongs with their Teslas as well. We had Solar Fest was on the plans for last year. And because we did Solar Fest 2 years prior, 2 years prior. And we've had some good luck with getting people in for drives at those. But Solar Fest was at the same weekend as something else this year, but then ended up getting canceled anyway. So yeah, so it became a weird year this year, just in general.
What was Solar Fest? What was the context, or how do you frame that?
That is with it's with Shoreline's Solar Fest. It's with the college up there.
Shoreline Community College. They actually are one of the training facilities for Tesla Mechanics.
Yep.
And they also are very big on promoting solar. So they've been doing this every year for a while, and they have solar panel installers, and they had Tesla. Yep. We had some Rangers there, and it's promoting sustainable energy, renewable resource stuff. It's a great event.
Yeah, because it was it was supposed to be in July last year. It's been in July for the past 3 or 4 years. And I think it moved into July this past year. But yeah, but hopefully they can get Solar Fest going up again this year, because they changed the platform from previous years this past year, because they were going to take and move it to inside the school for some of the events, that you could take solar energy classes for different things. And then they had the exhibitors outside for like the cars, the panels, water collection stuff, water purification stuff, solar water purification stuff. So they had a whole ton of things where you could actually just see exhibitors as well as take classes on some of their events as well too. So yeah, so they do a lot of that kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, and that's all run by the college in their solar program. They just invited us along for the electric vehicle stuff. So that's how we got roped into them.
And we do put it on our event calendar when it comes around and when it doesn't get canceled.
Exactly.
I think we'll have to try that down here.
Yeah.
What can does anybody have any information about this event coming up on the 28th in Bellevue, the Tesla integration? I saw an email about that. I think I RSVP'd for 2.
Yeah. It's Tesla presenting their renewable energy stuff. So it'll be their solar presentation as well as their Powerwall presentation at the store. So yeah, that's purely just Tesla's solar stuff that they're demonstrating there. And giving
is that special to go that particular night, or is this like, I mean, it just
nope. No, it's like yes, because we will have a virtual one in March if you wanted to wait until then. If you wanted to take and just watch the presentation virtually, it's just it's Gary Calderon. Hopefully, he usually does our energy presentations. It's like yes, he gives you what different specs look like of solar panels, what different specs look like the solar roof, how the install happens with them, the devices that they use to take and attach the panels or the roof to your house. How they integrate kind of the solar, the power walls with them, that kind of a stuff. And it's like, and so it's basically, it's just a presentation of what their solar products look like. It's pretty much what it is. And then you can even bring in your power bill, and they can kind of give you a rough estimate of what size system that they could possibly do on your house. So, and it's like, yes. So if you'd rather wait and do a virtual one and watch it that way, Howard, you're more than welcome to. So you don't have to come to this one in person.
That on an excuse to drive my car.
I know, exactly. And I'm more than happy to have you there in person too with your car. No worries. So, because we do actually have a wait list on it now, because it filled up in 2 days. I was so shocked.
The standard comments on Twitter that I've been seeing lately is Washington, or on Facebook. It seems ever since I looked into that event, my Facebook timeline has had a lot of ads for Washington solar companies, and commentary that other people are leaving seems to suggest that there's not enough sunlight in Washington to support the solar concept. I'm just saying. I mean, you know how the Powerwall works. It doesn't matter. I mean, Stephen Mark Ryan, if you don't know who he is, on a YouTube series on solving the money problem, did something on this recently about, or maybe it was a different presentation, but basically the idea is you only need a third of the time to have the sun.
Right.
If you build 20% beyond your needs, then in the Powerwall you'll retain the energy regardless of the weather.
Yes.
So
yes,
I have no idea how it works.
I'll say yes, and the joys of having the battery backup is also a bonus. So
yeah,
there is that. And it's like yes, because we don't draw in as much solar during the winter months as we do in the summer months. But we also don't get the highest production like Arizona houses would up here, but we get enough that we can run our homes. So, because theoretically, they estimated my house at an 18.9 kilowatt solar roof system with 5 power walls. So,
And after that
and
18, you
theoretically,
probably get 10K production.
well, yeah, exactly. But it's like, but when I take and estimate my house on their estimator, it's a 34 kilowatt system.
Mm.
So it's just how they put the solar tiles on the roof with the orientation of my house. So we'll see if they can increase that. Because when I was looking at just solar panels 2 years ago, they started out doing an 11 kilowatt system, was as big as they could do on solar panels. But when I talked to Northwest Electric and Solar, they were able to do they were able to estimate us a 13 kilowatt system for doing solar panels. So then I asked Tesla to rework it, and they were able to come up to 13 kilowatts just on solar panels for us as well too. So, but the wonderful weird configuration of the backside of our roofs is kind of limiting what they can do for the tiles. So we'll see what happens.
And then one of the other things too, I mean, where we live, we have an HOA. The requirement is a wood shake roof. Now, because of the state law, we can overrule the wood shake roof if we go solar. So Tesla's solar glass roof overrules the HOA requirement for wood shake. Now, the estimate that we got for doing this Tesla roof is less than a new wood shake roof.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
for less than I would have to normally spend, I'm going to get a roof that lasts longer. And if it generates any electricity, that's additional gain.
And you get a
Right.
25-year warranty on it.
And that includes the power walls.
Yeah.
So, you know,
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer for me. It's like,
No-brainer.
when can you install it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even some of our neighbors are down here, 3 different neighbors just put on comp roofs, presidential comp roofs, 40 grand. Mine after federal tax credit was 37.5 just for the solar roof. Yeah.
Nice.
It's like, why would you? And so, and I'm seeing other homeowners who don't know about this yet. So I'm talking to the HOA. It's like, it's a law that they must make it an option because Oregon has that, and Washington does too, that you can override the CC&Rs. And
Yes.
So you really should say, this is another alternative material that you can put on your roof, and then take a look at the numbers on it. Yeah.
Yeah, because legally they can't prevent you,
Right.
excuse me, from doing solar.
Right.
Yep.
So, and a lot of people don't know that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I know. So awesome. So we got any more questions are out there? Because we're 6 minutes over our time allotted. So I'm willing to go later if people want to still chat, but it's totally up to you guys.
Yeah.
And if you come up with any ideas, you know, later ideas for events, things you want to see from the club, please email us. Let us know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You can send
Or
it
social
to us.
media.
Yep. Either
That's
one works.
easier.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
And as you mentioned that, it's like we probably should just, for those who don't know, have the board and the chapter heads introduce themselves and wave.
Sure.
So Teresa, our club president, you know,
Yep.
was doing the presentation. I'm the VP,
Exactly.
Jay.
Yep.
I'm the treasurer, Margie, and I am working on the dumpling making. I'm gonna try to send out as early as possible so you can prepare. And luckily, I did start scoping around the stores. You should be able to get your wrapping from markets near you, I
We're
hope.
not making those.
I'm using existing wrapping.
Exactly.
My name is Cindy. I'm social media and secretary on the board. So excuse my spelling error that someone called out on the Facebook page for the Bellevue Square. It's a program that
happens.
does not have spell check, you know, it's graphic design. I thought it was kind of a
Exactly.
funny comment, so I didn't fix it.
Exactly. So yeah, so do the board members want to introduce themselves? Yeah, go for it. The chapter leads, I mean. Yep.
I'm Howard Feinstein with the Olympic chapter in Kitsap, and I see Teslas everywhere. I saw that there was on the slide, there was 4 members in Kitsap. I would sure love to know who the other 3 are so I can connect with them. And I'm going to do that frunk opening project with a developer on Bainbridge Island as a Tesla, and he's going to do it with me at my house. And I'm planning on, by the time we're done with that job, he's going to be another new member in our club without question. Because he doesn't know it yet, but I'm not going to give him the first tool until he says, okay, I'll join. So I'll have his parts in my garage when he comes over, and I'll be like, by the way, you're joining. But I'd love to develop more in the Kitsap area. So, and I've also had someone reach out to me. Teresa referred someone to me to do a test drive. That one didn't work out, but I have actually done 2 other test drives since then. To bring people into the Tesla lifestyle, and you know, hopefully it'll come to fruition soon. You know, but
yeah, because I know that none of the Tesla stores right now have Model S's or Model X's for test drives right at the moment, or displays. So
yeah,
the joys of shutting the factory down for a bit to retool.
Yeah, we know why.
Exactly. So yeah, so those fun things. Okay, and then yep, Judy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, and I'm not sure if you see me or not. So this is Judy from the South region. I live in Ellensburg, and besides the Wild Horse Wind Farm, which I've been to several times, we've got all kinds of other things here too. We've got a cider farm, we've got local farms, we've got Western art, and just a beautiful new hotel. So come on over.
Yes. And then Marshall, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello, my name is Marshall Gladding. I reside in the Woodinville area and represent the Puget Sound. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions or ideas for events in this area, and looking forward to helping out.
Awesome. It's like, so does anybody else have any more questions, or we can sign off for the evening if you want?
Okay, good night.
All righty, sounds like a plan. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for sharing your evening with us.
Yeah,
Good meeting.
great seeing everybody online.
Good meeting. Good organization. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
we try and keep it going for you.
Fun. I want to do this again. It was so much fun. Let's do it again. How often do we do these meetings? Is it just once a year, or what?
The annual meeting is once a year, because that's why we have to introduce everybody to the financials of the club, because that's required by law. Okay. But it's like we're also trying to work on doing monthly social hours as well with the club too, so we can all just get together and chit chat virtually, since we can't do a lot of the in-person stuff yet.
So and what about the chapter meetings, the chapter lead, chapters with board meetings? One of those.
Yes. Well, because because those we want to try and do at least every month, if not every other month, or maybe a couple times a month. We haven't sorted that all out yet.
Okay.
We're trying to pull you guys in when we're going to start doing in-person meetings, so we can help everybody get meetings and events starting to plan as well too for your areas. So yep. All righty. So I will stop recording now.